you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this message. I'm Thomas Fessa, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, September 12th, 2025. And if you look back at the clock, yeah, we had a UFO hearing this week, and there's been a lot of stuff going on to pull together our nation in ways we've never seen before. On that note, let's go ahead and pull together our audience and find out who the heck we have out there. Well, if you take a look and see, we got Carl Joe Garrison's here along with Kat and Kathy and Charmanian's here. I see Dan and Delta and Eliza in the chat. Good to see you, my friends. Firefly's here along with Gene Sticko. We got Geraldine DeRazio, Gray Hair Discoveries. Jan, good to see you, my dear friend. Jason 1978's here along with J-Cat, Jeff, Joey, John Myatt Lockett, Kane Northrup, Kathy, and the elusive Kelly Brote with those piercing blue eyes who just vanished right in front of my eyes. How about that? Oh, there she is. Kenny's here along with Maritime Unprepared. We see Mr. X. What happened to Mrs. X? But we'll take it anyway. Maybe there isn't one. Ms. Cussout's here along with Niles Guy, our resident Pitbull. Good to see you, Nile Guy. And if you know about it, yeah, if you've seen one acting up today, political stuff, you know what to do. Kick their ass out of here. Who else we have? They got Roni Deal, Rodney Cox, Roland. We got Ross Colt, Hart, Backside Probe. Good to see you, Ross. Rough Freddy's here along with Rusty Door. Sam's here along with Super Unknown. We got Terrence and the Bruces, Tom Clark, and Truck and Pawpaw. And rounding up the chat, well, we've got Truck and Pawpaw, my friend. Wasteland Wanderer. How about that? What a day we had ahead of us. What a week. And it only gets better from here. On that note, let's go ahead and jump into this studio and let's see if I can do this right. And let's get in with the chat and pull this up and go, where'd it go? On. I lost it. Or better yet, no. Mike, Disclosure. How you doing, my friend?
Doing well, Thomas. Yeah, you're right. It's been one hell of a week. Really topped it off the last 48 hours. Been,
yeah.
A lot of talk and a lot of stuff going back and forth.
Wow, we had 9/11 come around, and it seems like we all forgot about it really quickly.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
The current events kind of overshadowed 9/11 this year.
Yeah, amazing what happens on those Antifa. We've been talking about Antifa a lot on those Antifa Discord servers, my friend, and what they can do to people. What a mess.
Well, there's, I think, active coverage about everything going on in Portland that you and I watch on a regular basis.
Yeah, but you know, we make it lucky. They may go ahead and declare them as a terrorist organization. Finally, we look forward to it.
Oh, it's about fucking time that they do that. Long overdue.
Oh, it is. So if we turn back our clocks a little bit longer before all the bullshit hit the fan on this one, wow. Interesting hearing, Mike. We thought it was going to be a nothing burger.
We did.
Turned out to be a something burger a little bit.
Interesting. It was interesting. I'll give you that. Very interesting. Unexpectedly so.
You know what hit me the most?
What's that?
Jasmine Crockett didn't jump into partisan politics. Well, what one of her fellow Democrats did, she kept it on script, and she didn't drop into that talk that she usually talks like. She actually sounded almost normal.
Yep. No, you're right about that. But the partisan politics still kicked in, like you said.
Oh, yeah. We did say it was going to happen. At least I did call it out that it was going to happen. Even the audience.
It was on the bingo card, yeah.
Yeah, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Alien Atlas, 3i Atlas, turned green on us. And it's still putting light out there. It's truly an anomaly, but I don't think it's going to be passing by Earth anytime soon, dropping off, probes with parachutes, like Avi Loeb talked about in the past.
And bursting into flames, according to Avi Loeb.
Oh, well, that would be the Tic Tac that bursts into flames. And of course, we did get something that kind of looked like a Tic Tac, and that seems to be the talk of the town right now, Mike. Everyone is looking at that video that came out from Burleson with regards to
HELLFIRE missile.
That HELLFIRE missile that shot something. Just want to pass it back. The original resolution of that video, Mike, is 640 by 328.
Oh my God, it's hardly any resolution at all.
That is like standard definition video. Granted, this one, this looks about right. Well, I'm just bringing it up now. I guess we could go ahead and bring it up. There's some interesting bits. We've got the original video here. We have zoomed in videos. We have professional analysis of the videos. And you just got to look at it and wonder, what the hell are we truly looking at? Now, what I don't get, Mike, is, as we'll get into this, there are so many people in the UFO community who are instantly calling this out as a balloon.
Right. And some people we know in this UFO community that are convinced that this is a balloon.
Yeah, one of the first people to get it out there was Matt Ford saying it's a balloon.
Yeah.
But I think Lou was saying other things about it, though, isn't he?
Just the whole idea that somebody could claim that this was a balloon, it's insane. It's ridiculous. It actually is insulting our intelligence. That's how I take it.
Right. So, I guess we can play the full video, full screen first, and then we can get into it and do the frame-by-frame analysis and the whole thing. Yeah, it doesn't look like a balloon. How many times do you hit a balloon, and then you get three perfectly sized objects, all have the same image refracting as the big one, come out and move along in formation, right?
You don't.
Yeah. Definitely not. And DW from the United Kingdom. What say you, my friend?
Hey, Thomas. Yeah, I missed the shout outs. But yeah, so if it was a balloon, what hit the balloon and why did it continue going in the direction it was traveling?
Right.
So, yeah. And why didn't it pop? More to the point.
It didn't pop. If you look at the balloon that was shot down by a Sidewinder off of the east coast of the United States by South Carolina, when that one got shot, it went into a bunch of pieces like Humpty Dumpty would.
Yep.
This one didn't seem to do that, but let me get to the video up here. I know I've got it here somewhere. All right, let me get this out of the way and bring it. Let's take it to full screen. Here we go. Move myself out of the way. Bring this down just a little bit. It's an odd resolution, so let's bring Mike and our guest in here as well. So let's just go ahead and play this one. So let me blow it up a little bit. We've got the object that they're following. It's this kind of an oval shape here. We've got some other takes of it that they're tracking. And eventually we're going to get a Sidewinder missile. And below it, I guess, as you'll see later on, what's flying by here just as in clouds, it's actually the ocean.
Yep.
So they're tracking it for a good distance here. And there it goes. Hold on. So there's that. Let's see if I can do this here. Let's get to QuickTime Player, View, Window, Edit. Where is it at? Oh, I know it's here somewhere. Where is Adjust Video? We'll get to it. All right. So let's just go ahead and, I should be able to do this. Give me a second. Of course, I don't have the glasses with me, but I've got yet another pair I can pop out new. Take off the little sticker on there. Let me just take a look and see what the hell I need to find. You love it when these windows are so small, I can't read with my glasses on, so let's get to it. There should be a way here for me to go ahead and edit the video. Edit, show full screen on, timeline, show clips, loops, special video, no. No. All right, let's just play it and let's go through it. The Sidewinder missile comes in. It hits it and continues on. Coming out of this, which I need to get to these other videos I have here because I can't adjust this one. Just give me a second. Let's bring it up. All right. Coming to us from Mr. BBB333. He did a great analysis on this today. Here comes that Sidewinder missile, Mike. And I'll kill his audio, of course. As a Sidewinder missile, there we go. There's the particular object as it's going to be coming in. We're going to zoom in on it. We're going to take a look And as it goes to go through the object, it kind of passes through the object. There we go. Comes out the other side, and as the object moves away, you're going to see that we've got 3 identical objects that also have a glow around them, Mike, that come out of it and start to go ahead. You see that one we had there on the very far left? That bugger lights up for some reason. Now, if this was a balloon, it wouldn't be having this particular kind of a thing going on that you'd be seeing going around it. And then you've got the objects come into it, and they come into a traditional orb formation.
Yeah.
And not just that, all of the objects themselves, as you'll see in a second, all have the exact same look and feel.
They're also moving at the same speed.
Right. With the object itself.
Right.
So there we go. There's that one that lights up again on its own. And you've got 3 of them in the same... well, let me pause that for a second. You've got the 3 of them, and they're all in the same orientation. Why is it that you would have a balloon that would come out, right, and pop it, and every one of those objects continue to move with the main object, entering a formation, and they all have the exact same orientation? Andy, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'm also going to comment that, that's an exceedingly fast-flying balloon. and also, if you look, so I wouldn't want to be in the wind, or the in that kind of wind that thing's moving at the speed of the wind would be moving. Also, the waves, if you look at the waves, I believe they're moving in the opposite direction than it's traveling.
Right.
And they're not very high waves. If that was that kind of wind, you're looking at some of the biggest waves I think we'd ever see. So, yeah.
I'd have to agree with you completely. Who else do we have in the back with their hand up? I think I saw Tia Marie and then Michael. Tia, go ahead.
It looks like hot, like metal to me when it hit it, and it looks like silver when you're melting it, and it goes in like these little balls at different places. That's what it looks like to me. Interesting.
What are your thoughts, Mike?
This doesn't look like your normal UFO. I think it's something. I'm sure it's a UFO, but it's different.
Oh yeah,
than any other UFO we have seen.
It looks like the things like the things that we've seen before that split off together, like when they come apart and then
reform.
I've never seen, honestly, I've never seen anything like this before.
No,
I totally agree with you. I mean,
there was a video that I seen not long ago of the orb things, right? And the orbs were literally dropping like pieces of metal is what they said they were. That's what they thought that it looked like. That's just what it looks like to me.
So to me, it doesn't look like a metal. It's almost like a drop of water. That when you split a drop of water, it breaks off in little pieces, and they'll come back together again.
Yeah, but water doesn't light up like that, right? So
no, of course not. But
it's definitely
it's water. I'm using water as an example.
Right.
But this is not a normal UFO.
No, I would love to know what technology that is. I mean, that's amazing.
It's something that's very interesting, to say the least. And it was just interesting to see so many of the live streamers out there going ahead and saying, oh, it's a balloon, it's a balloon. And it's like, okay, I guess, but show me an example of a balloon that looks like this, right, Mike?
No, there's no way in hell. Balloons don't move at that speed, that altitude, and they don't survive contact with a HELLFIRE missile.
No, they don't.
Definitely don't do that. Look at how, I mean, to me, I think it's beautiful, whatever it is.
That's a way to look at it. Jay, your hand is up, my friend.
Yeah, I want to take us back to when the crash happened at Roswell, and the farmer came out and said that he had Jesse Marcel had picked up this, stuff off the ground, and he had crushed it, and it came to the same exact size as what it was before, right? So if this was some kind of organic memory metal.
Okay, right. You're talking about a memory metal. That would be something you crush you to come back. This one, it's almost looked like this may have been a carrier. And there's a bunch of people saying out there who are in the action thing saying, look, it's a plasma orb.
No,
we don't know what
necessarily.
we don't know what the hell we don't know what the hell this is, honestly.
No, nobody knows what
but
it is.
This is some kind of a carrier.
They're obviously following the object. So I mean, if they're somehow connected to that object when it's split off from possibly maybe they use because all right, you don't actually see an explosion when the Hellfire hits it, do you?
No.
Okay, so then the object transferred this energy and made these orbs out of that energy.
Or potentially those orbs were already within that area, and as it went through, they kind of popped out. Because remember, there were tales over in Russia of potential times when they were going and shooting at what was it? At a UFO on the ground, that multiple entities came out of it.
Yeah.
They ended up turning the material and the different things around it into stone. They all turned it into orbs, and they all came back together and shot off.
That CIA report that came out.
Yeah.
No, you're correct on that. I'm just saying, like, just looking at this, it seems like either it used the energy of that missile somehow because it didn't explode at all.
Yeah, I guess potentially
it went right through it.
We don't understand the energy field that's around these things, how it can be interrupted, how it can be dispersed. Potentially, if these things have a gravitational wake field around it, did it actually pass through the object, or did it kind of disrupt the field and the thing in the object went for a tussle, but potentially because it's around it, it protected it. We're not sure if it's a shield that actually protects it or just allows it to move through our time, space, and space-time.
Videos as well, like you said, the resolution of the original, that's horrible for a government video like this.
They down-resed it, which is what they usually do.
Definitely did.
Well, they down-resed it, but also this was originally recorded. It was a recording of a recording, meaning there was a recording on a monitor. Someone had something like an old iPhone 8 Plus or something, and they're recording it. And now, so they're recording the monitor, but still, even the recording we got is like 640 by 480 resolution, which is like progressive standard definition technology. It's really...
Well, let's get to it, UFOers. Somebody for you this original video.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of people. I mean, I guess it's available on SIPRNet, which is the internal network that is part of the DOD, and anyone who has clearance can potentially access these videos.
There's the SIPR and the NIPR, and there's a bunch of different ones.
Yep, exactly. All right, so let's get on with this a bit more.
Keep going, Thomas. I just wanted to put that in there.
Thank you. So we got the three objects that come out of it. All three of them in IR have the same return signature, which is kind of amazing. If you look at it, this one goes dark for a second, and then it pops back, and you can really see that energy field pop around it again, almost like you're getting off the first one that's been kind of lit up, because if you look at it when it's first flying around, it's got a little bit of the energy field that's there, but definitely after it kind of goes off, and it's got like, it had 3 babies inside, and now they are pissed, potentially. They look identical to me. I don't know. Gene, your hand was up, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. So 2 things. I was just going to raise a point Niles brought up in the chat when it came to the Hellfire about the potential of it just being a kinetic type missile, not armed with a warhead, because maybe they didn't know what they were potentially shooting at. So I don't know enough about warheads to get too much in detail on that. But as you were saying, Thomas, the view of it that I have is that it looks like that missile is penetrating that magnetic and gravitational field and separating. And that's what I think we're seeing. That's why I don't think we can actually make out the specific shape of the craft itself. I think there's something there with the magnetic and gravitational field that's around it.
Let me get out of here. Let me hide myself. We actually
at one
have.
point it even looked like a triangle.
We have a pretty good shape of the craft here. Kind of looks oblong. I'm not going to call it an egg shape for obvious reasons, because no Humpty Dumpty can pop out.
Yeah, and that's I just wasn't sure with the shading and everything like that. And there it looks more triangular.
Right. You know, if you take a look at it, it's before then, it's got that kind of a tic-tac shape to it.
Yeah.
And then it gets hit, the missile comes through, and kablooey, it's kind of spun around. But the thing is, it's not like the balloon we saw back in a couple of years ago, that was shot down, that came from China, where that thing just fragmented into a whole bunch of small pieces and fell. And if that would be the case, why didn't this break apart? Why did it go through? It spun around, almost like it jellied around it a bit, and then it came back, and you've got these objects coming out of it that are just beyond interesting.
Right. Exactly. That's why I say, just for my 2 cents, I think what we're seeing is more related to the disruption of those fields that the craft are operating within than it being plasma balls or anything like that.
Exactly. Like on that note, that actually begs our audience to complete a poll. I'll call us hearing, UAP video, UAP balloon. All right, let's go ahead and start this poll really quick. Let me bring it up for our audience to go ahead and give an opportunity to vote and see where our audience on this one is going to take us. Come on, get out of there. All right, we're at 67%, 85%. Oh, well, let's just see where it goes. Wow. All right, 92% of our audience. Let me get the sound effects up and going. And then let's go ahead and call on Daryl Zernick. Your hand is up, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, Hellfire missiles carry explosive warheads. There's no explosion.
They carry approximately 18 to 20 pounds of high explosive, usually a high energy compound like PBXN-9. They also have blast and fragmentation that will blast and put a bunch of different, like pieces flying off in every direction. And they also, it's also a thermobaric warhead that uses aluminum powder, which causes a devastating confined spaces such as caves and buildings, creates high temperatures and longer duration pressure. And this thing did not go kaboom. Where's the kaboom?
No, it didn't go kaboom. I think what we're actually witnessing is a sperm bouncing off an egg, because that's what it looks like to me. I'm just saying, there's no explosion. It didn't penetrate. It's just. It goes off. It's like how does that happen? Is it a dud?
I don't think it's a dud. Potentially, let's just say if they talk about UAPs and their ability to shut down our electronics and everything else, could we say there's a possibility that the craft here, as the Hellfire missile approached it, it deactivated its ability like it did with, like they did over in Malmstrom Air Force Base, Mike, with Robert Salas, that it basically deactivated its technology before it actually impacted. Because it seems like it bounced off. Is it continuing? It is bounced off a little, because if you look at the trajectory as it's coming into it from an angle, it seems like it is changed to go a little bit down and to the right.
Yeah, the Hellfire itself changes course, and the object that it hit, the UAP, it fishtails.
Yeah.
And then recovers.
That even if it didn't explode, that what's flying off, like you should have seen something flying off that missile. Like something would have broken.
Right, it should have, but it didn't. It's like it got just deflected or bounced off it, kind of. It's an interesting tech, but if we can, getting back to this survey really quick, we put up for audience. I want to go ahead and bring this to a close and just say, hey, we've had 95 votes in so far, and 90% of our audience keeps on going back and forth right now. 91%, let's just end it at 90%, and we're good. 90% of our audience, with 94 votes in, goes ahead and said, yes, it's not a balloon, it's a UAP, and I think that's where I've been sitting all the way along. Gene, you have your hand up?
I was just going to add, as the HELLFIRE goes off the screen, there's a little bit of that white that suddenly appears like a heat signature. So I'm curious if, anyone's asked the question or found
like the
out.
bottom side of it, meaning it's coming in, it looks like this, right?
Correct, as it goes off.
And then after it impacts, the side where it impacted,
yeah,
you started seeing some heat coming in.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right there, and it gets a little bit more as it goes off screen where my head is.
Let me move our big heads out of the way. There we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just curious if it would have been remote detonated after the fact since it missed its target, or if anybody's looked into that.
I guess that would be a good question, is what happened to the HELLFIRE missile? If it didn't explode, did it come down somewhere, and did they try to recover it? Because if you look at the end of the video after we get past this, and this one doesn't show it, let me get to a different one. You get towards the end of the video, after the impact happened, we get the stuff passing through, and then it opens it up. And for some, I don't understand why, after the impact happens, why the crew is no longer trying to follow this video and figure out what's going on. It doesn't make sense. So you get past that, and then all of a sudden it goes off the screen, and now you've got the ocean to kind of show you. But there it is. Potentially, there is a craft, and they're still trying to follow it, but they're having a hard time.
The MQ-9 Reaper drone, their optical onboard equipment for recording is average 1080p, 12 to 15 frames per second.
Yeah.
So that's why the video looks like crap.
Well, 1080p, Mike, we've got half of that. We've got 640 by 480, which is an even quarter 1080p.
Well, so they down-resed it, but they always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew that.
But it's the down-resing of the actual iPhone video that's the interesting part, Mike.
No, you're right. Someone made a copy.
A copy of a copy of a copy. But, I believe, hasn't Jeremy Corbell saying he's seen this video in the past? And there's more of this.
They've seen several. Yeah, there's more of them. And they're on SIPRNet for the government.
Right.
And they were waiting for videos like this to come out.
So if Jeremy's got the videos, why is he hiding this stuff? It doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
It almost as good as this, Mike, they've announced that they found life on Mars. But look at this rock they found.
Yeah.
With a series of holes. Does that look natural to you?
No.
Oh, fuck no. I guess going ahead and announcing that they found evidence that there was life on Mars at one time, I guess that's a small step, but because don't forget, back in the days, religion has been there for the longest time, Mike, that, what do you call it? The only place in the universe where there is life is Earth. But then again, that's just one particular religion whose names we won't mention.
Yeah, we know that's not true. The science is established is water all over the cosmos. There is materials that are the basis for the formation of life. And now NASA is revealing to the public that they found samples of fossilized microbes.
Right.
Right.
But don't forget, they had meteorites that came to Earth coming from Mars when there was a big, thing to hit the planet that actually showed evidence of microbial life before. So it just seems like they keep on putting off the inevitable of announcing of what they found, and there's like reasons why they want to keep on keeping us in the dark. Non-trustworthy reasons.
No, you're right. But then the question is, what type of life was there at one point? Because they said when Mars was in the Goldilocks zone, it was thriving with an atmosphere, water, like Earth was. So I can only imagine if they do expeditions to find fossils and things like that, we might be amazed at what's on that planet.
Of what truly kind of life is out there is what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
Even like what we're dealing with this, we have good evidence of a ship getting shot, and then everybody wants to go out there and say, claim it's a balloons. Why don't they just jump to the point, Mike, and start calling it swamp gas?
Yeah. They actually could, but people would laugh and not buy their story. But when they say balloon, a lot of people have really started to think it's a balloon.
Now, talking about Mars, granted this is a slightly enhanced version of it, they have found evidence with structures on Mars that looks like a square shape like this, Mike, is not natural.
90-degree angles? No, they're
4 of them.
Absolutely not natural.
No. Granted, it's been cleaned up and enhanced so you can kind of see where the edges are that go with it. But yeah, they found a lot of evidence on Mars that there has been potentially not just microbial life there, but actually intelligent life that was actually civilized.
It had to be. When it was a thriving planet, it wasn't just microbes that were running around the surface. Right. It had to have developed into some form of advanced life.
Yeah.
Now that's pretty much common sense.
Niles guy just brought up in the chat, if I can find it here really quick at the bottom. Hey, isn't Mars even red? It's fake color filter. It looks like Colorado with blue skies. Yes, we have seen videos and images coming from Mars lately where everything is in orange, isn't red. There are blue skies out there, which just blows the whole red planet thing out of the water, doesn't it?
It does. But that's because we've been getting our information from NASA. That is now
you mean never a
officially
straight answer or not a space
Never a straight
agency?
answer.
Well, they're not a
Right.
space agency anymore. They are now officially an intelligence agency, aren't they? Yeah.
Right. Yes, they are.
Which means getting information from them for what's happened in the past with any of the moon missions or any of the stuff makes it even harder because now it's an intelligence agency. They're no longer a civilian space agency, which honestly they never were they?
No, they never were.
No.
The truth is coming out.
Yeah.
That's why they were reclassified, because that's the position and what they've been doing the whole time.
Yeah.
No shock or surprise there.
All right. Let me bring this up here. I got a bunch of things in the X profile today. Let's bring this up. All right, Mike, I've got an example we're talking about before, just jumping back to the balloon gate again.
Yeah.
We've got a video of the balloon that was flying over the United States from China that was shot down with a HELLFIRE missile, I believe. Let's get to this one here. And here we go. We've got the balloon of what happened to the balloon when it was shot with a missile. And then we've got the other object. And what do you notice when you had the balloon that was shot with a missile?
It exploded.
It exploded and came out as a bunch of little parts. And it lost its shape. Here we've got something that kind of maintains its shape. It shows at this point they had an opening where some things were ejected from it. But it's light and day. So the people who are saying, it's a balloon, they shot down a balloon.
Yeah, obviously.
Got to wonder if they are the true disinformation agents, Mike.
Yeah. No, that is obviously wrong information they're putting out there.
And for some of those disinformation agents on there, we've done the research. We hope you get the mental help you need, LM. You know, the fantasies, the lies that you know is a particular fact really aren't. And we had hoped you have gotten helped, but clearly you haven't. And we hope you get the care that you require to be able to be a productive citizen out there. Because, Mike, I'm truly worried about him.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But
I heard some things coming out again, and he says, I know for a fact. What fact are you talking about except the one manufactured in your mind? It's sad. But we do wish, you know, there are a lot of people like that out there who do fantasize on stuff and do take these fantasies and they manifest them into their realities. It's never a good sight, is it?
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Just like NASA making up stories
Oh,
and
yeah.
feeding it to the public as well.
Yeah. Best researcher ever, my ass. Oh, just saying. All right. I'm sorry, Mike. I had to go down that particular place, but you know what? It's deserved. Where am I at? You know, let's get back to it. We've got some more stuff to cover here. Am I in the right browser? No, I'm not. Where is the one we need here? All right. What a crazy week it's been. Let me get to Brave. Let's get to this one. We got that one from there. Let's get to, I think I've got some more things here. I think there's been some videos out there from Elizondo. If I could go ahead and find them in my list of videos out there.
We were supposed to cover that next with the interview with Chris Cuomo.
Oh, I know. Let me see if I can get it here. It should be here shortly. All right.
Certainly.
This one is just, you know what? Have you seen the full interview, Mike? Because I've got one that's a minute 27. Actually, let's start off with Lou Elizondo over on, where is he at? Over on News Nation, talking about this stuff. Let's get this one up here. Let's see if I can find some more of the full videos, because UAP James likes to edit these down, but I like to see the full piece. So let's get to this one. All right. Here we go, Mike.
Yep.
Well, they did a lot.
What do they think Arrow did under the last administration to hamper efforts by Congress to get to the bottom of this?
Well, they did a lot of things. First of all, the reports that they put out to Congress were erroneous. They were fraught full of inaccuracies and misinformation. In fact, they were factually false in some of their results. Secondly, they did not do their due diligence. They had told Congress they talked to everybody who knew anything about UAPs. That is also patently not true. And then they said, well, they've talked to all the whistleblowers and there's nothing to see here. And that also is not true. A lot of information, substantial amount of information was provided to Arrow in the past, and they decided to sit on it and furthermore actually suppress it. I know for a fact there's a major command right now in Colorado that was visited by Sean Kirkpatrick, and they were told to stand down and not report UAP information. That actually happened.
What do they think Arrow did under the last administration to hamper efforts by Congress to get to the bottom of this?
Well, they did a lot of things. First of all, the reports that they put out to Congress were erroneous. They were fraught full of inaccuracies and misinformation. In fact, they were factually false in some of their results. Secondly, they did not do their due diligence. They had told Congress they talked to everybody who knew anything about UAPs. That is also patently not true. And then they said, well, they've talked to all the whistleblowers and there's nothing to see here. And that also is not true. A lot of information, substantial amount of information was provided to Arrow in the past, and they decided to sit on it and furthermore actually suppress it. I know for a fact there's a major command right now in Colorado that was visited by Sean Kirkpatrick, and they were told to stand down and not report UAP information. That actually happened.
What do they think Arrow did under the last administration?
So there we go, Mike. Interesting. It's not the clip I was looking for, but we do have another one. How do you like Elizondo's take on this?
Oh, he's accurate. He's right about what he's saying. We know that everything that Arrow has been feeding us has been complete horseshit. And I didn't know until he just said it now that not only was Kirkpatrick burying the truth and lying about everybody that came and spoke directly to Arrow. But he was actually going to military bases and telling them to shut the fuck up and not report anything on UAP. I didn't know he had that kind of authority. Did you?
No, I didn't. You know, you think there's a separation between ARO and the military. It's supposed to be, but to have them and people coming out and trying to talk about the truth and telling them to shut up, it seems like a cover-up, Mike.
Oh, it is. Where's Burchett and that sound clip?
It's a cover-up.
Really, oh, yeah. But I didn't know that Kirkpatrick had the authority to order the military to stand down and cover up any type of UAP reports. I didn't know he had that kind of power.
Well, Mike, it seems like it's truly a cover-up situation, unfortunately.
It is.
All hands on deck. The military and the government doesn't want this truth to come out, unfortunately. No, I do have a shortened version of that clip from of Lou talking on News Nation with Ross Coulthart. Let's go ahead and see if I can find the whole clip. We will play it, but in the meantime, let's just go ahead and play this and let's get on to it. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
The HELLFIRE missile is certainly one of the most sophisticated, most capable types of air missiles that we have. We use it to prosecute the global war on terror, in the vernacular, if you will, warheads on foreheads, with such a degree of precision that we can literally fly through a window and take out a bunch of terrorists. What you are seeing here is basically some sort of technology that is making our premier missile system completely and utterly useless, if you will. It is making it almost irrelevant. So imagine, for example, let's take away the word UAP and just say this was some sort of adversarial technology, UAP technology from Russia. How do you think that would bode well for the Department of Defense and our national security?
I hate to do this really quick. I've always seen this clip a little bit. I want to pause midstream on this because I actually have the full video, 4.5 minutes for us to play. I think that it should be all right for us to go ahead and jump into this. Let me go ahead and bring this down here. Sorry, audience. I know this is something we're just watching and getting into, but being able to find the full 4.5 minute episode, let me just bring it down here and let's get to it from right here.
My guests. Perfect.
All right, let's turn this and let's just play it. All right, here we go, folks. Sorry about starting it up and restarting again, but I think you'll appreciate the context of the entire interview. Here we go, everybody. Actually, I just got it from here, which will be better. Yeah, let's just play it. Screw it.
Perfect. Ross Coulthart, all right, who live streamed the hearings for the network News Nation, and Lou Elizondo, former head of the government's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Lou, it's great to have you. Ross, as always, thank you. Ross, let me tee up what I think mattered most, and feel free to disagree with that assessment. But the idea that one of our best missiles, a HELLFIRE missile that usually you can't get away from, didn't work with whatever it was fired at on this one occasion. We're showing it, right? And you see the incoming ballistic, Lou. You can help me with this in terms of the jargon. And the thing seems to I thought at first when I saw it that it hit it and it just ricocheted off, end of story. But the people at the hearing were saying, no, that's not what you're seeing. So I want your guys' perspective. What am I missing in this and why does it matter, Ross?
Interesting bit, Mike, before we get to it. If you look at when it goes at the end of it, it actually does take a curve like it's trying to come around and hit it again.
Perspective. What am I missing in this and why does it matter, Ross?
Yeah, it matters. G'day, Chris. It matters because that is a HELLFIRE missile, one of the top missiles in the U.S. military arsenal for combating, surface to air, air to air. And it frankly didn't make a jot of difference to whatever that object is. And that's significant because what it shows is there is a technology that is unhindered by whatever it is that the U.S. is trying to use against it. This is significant. This is obviously something that I think in the past the United States military, the intelligence community have tried to keep from public knowledge. Is this the reason why they don't want us to know about the UAP mystery? I'd love to know Lou's perspective on this, but frankly, I think this was a turning point in congressional awareness on UAPs. And I think all told, the hearing was significant because Congress has got its mojo back. And this video is a signal of their intention to take the defence and intelligence community on for their unwillingness to engage the public on this mystery.
Lou, in proper context of the informed skepticism on this, it's no. This happens. It's like when somebody gets shot in the head sometimes, the right angle, the right caliber, it can bounce off instead of blowing right through you. This is the same thing. Because of the angle and the speed, it was a glancing blow. You saw some of the stuff came off, and that's all this is. There's nothing special about it other than that.
Well, first of all, I disagree with that perspective. The HELLFIRE missile is certainly one of the most sophisticated and most capable types of air missiles that we have. We use it to prosecute the...
You hear that, Mike? First thing out of his mouth, he doesn't agree with Ross.
Right.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Global war on terror, in the vernacular, if you will, warheads on foreheads, with such a degree of precision that we can literally fly through a window and take out a bunch of terrorists. What you are seeing here is basically some sort of technology that is making our premier missile system completely and utterly useless, if you will. It is making it almost irrelevant. So imagine, for example, let's take away the word UAP and just say this was some sort of adversarial technology, UAP technology from Russia. How do you think that would bode well for the Department of Defense and our national security, knowing that Russia has a capability that completely makes all our missiles completely ineffective? This is a significant problem from a strategic perspective, from a tactical perspective, from a national security perspective. This video is extremely compelling, and I wish more of these types of videos would be released, because when I was in ATIP at the time, we had all sorts of videos available to us that frankly would probably knock your socks off. And this is why I'm so happy to see Congress doing what they're doing, especially under the leadership right now of Rep. Luna and her colleagues on the task force. America has a problem right now. Let's face it. The name of this task force is Restoring Public Trust Through UAP Transparency and Whistleblower Protection. This was the title of the hearing for the task force that Luna led. That means we already have a problem. If you have to restore public trust, that means you are already at a disadvantage. You're at a point
you
where...
lost it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
There we go. Passionate conversation coming out of Lou Elizondo. And you know, it's something, it's nice to see Lou back in the driver's seat again, talking about this stuff, talking from his experience, where we got Ross with a lot of speculation, Lou with his position in the military, and most recently in the executive branch, being seen at many important bases around the United States. It shows he knows what's going on.
Oh, he does. And it's like you said, it's nice to see him excited again. It's been a while that he's been passionate about this particular subject with what he was talking about. The only thing I can say, he and Ross were mentioning, this is the premier cutting edge weapon of the United States. Do you know that they started development on the HELLFIRE missile in the 1970s? It was 50 years ago. And then they put it into operation over 40 years ago. If this really is the best that we have in 2025, something from the mid 20th century, what does that say about the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, and almost $1 trillion annual budget that they've been receiving the whole time?
China's a lot more, you know what I would say? China's a lot more advanced than we are, because we've been wasting our money into funding wars in the Middle East for decades rather than investing it in our homeland and our national defense. Just saying.
Right. But if they get almost $1 trillion a year, 60% of it they can't account for, but we are referring to 50-year-old weapons as cutting edge and America's finest. I mean,
good point.
When I hear that, I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Really?
Sounds like the snow job I've been dealing with at work. They tell you you're getting one thing, but the reality comes out of it. You've got technology that just doesn't work the way it should, right?
Exactly.
Gotta love it. What salesman got that snow job, I tell you? But, talking about salesmen and snow jobs, We got another clip coming to us from WFLD TV, Channel 32, although they're not on Channel 32 because that's UHF, my friends. They've been bought out by Fox. And we've got Danny Sheehan talking about the UFO deflecting a missile and some insights on the hearing. Should we jump into it?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Got to love this. Thank you, you two, for bringing this to my attention. All right. So let's get to it. Here we go, folks.
I've heard from a number of whistleblowers, specifically military pilots, that the reason for not coming forward.
I just got to say, how much Adderall is she on her coffee? Because she talks so freaking fast. My God.
A mile a minute.
A mile a minute. I am amazed by her husband. Oh, God.
Publicly is out of fear that speaking out would cost them their flight status and potentially their careers. This is unacceptable. We cannot protect our airspaces if our best trained observers are silenced.
Yeah, Congress got an earful today on the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena, some that were caught on tape seeming to defy the laws of gravity, and one that actually deflected a HELLFIRE missile launched at it. Does that mean it is not of this world? Some former government workers and witnesses describe what they believe is the government keeping a humongous secret, and you heard the Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna there saying she wants to change that because there is legislation that would disclose all of this information on UAPs. And joining us now is Danny Sheehan, who we spoke with a couple of weeks ago, who is an expert on this and working with the witnesses. Danny, thanks again. This tape of the UAP that deflected that HELLFIRE missile, how big a deal is that?
That's a big deal. That's a big deal because it is a mechanism by means of which the UFOs can obviously completely defend themselves in a non-aggressive way against any kind of assault that is mounted against them by any of our military aircraft. Now, that's a technology, obviously, that the United States military is very interested in copying. They would love to figure out what that is so they could equip our jet fighters and stuff with that same technology to be able to repel incoming missiles.
Are you saying, though, that is evidence that is not of this planet, that there is no technology that could do that?
That's right. There is no technology that can do that we know of now. But on the other hand, there's no technology that can actually go from 80,000 feet from outer space down to the surface of the ocean in 0.7 of 1 second.
But wait a minute, Avi Loeb, Mike, went and Ted said that was impossible because that craft should have burst into flames, like you said earlier.
Yeah, when it made contact with the atmosphere. But that's assuming that it was in contact with the atmosphere, which it obviously wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much for Avi.
Continue on. Here we go.
Instantly generating 6,000 pounds, 6,000 Gs of pressure on the craft. Now, that all these things that these UFOs are doing are things that nothing in our arsenal and nothing in the Russian or Chinese arsenal can do. And so the Congress is confronted now by, what is this?
There, we just saw it deflect that missile. The missile hits it, and then it just kind of just dodges a little bit.
Yes, just blows it, just turns it aside. It's almost like a Tai Chi move. It just kind of just turns it aside and makes it go around it. So that these are technologies that are being displayed all around the world right now, and the Congress of the United States is trying to find out what it is that's going on, and the United States Pentagon and the Central Intelligence Agency are lying to Congress repeatedly, saying no, there's nothing like this. This is not true. There's none of this technology that seems to be something we can't explain away, and it's just lying to Congress, and Congress knows it.
Well, you were at the hearing. You were at the hearing today. You've been meeting with some of these Congress members. Do you see momentum that they want to pass this UAP Disclosure Act, which would supposedly disclose all these secrets?
Well, there's obviously momentum to get it passed. The problem is that the private aerospace corporations who want to patent the technology and be able to make billions of dollars by leasing it or licensing it back to the United States are opposing revealing all of this stuff. And they're supported by the Central Intelligence Agency and some of the special operations in the military. They want to keep this secret so they can develop it into weapons. weapons program and are lying to Congress about it. And they're embezzling money, billions of dollars from other programs to secretly funnel into this program while they're pretending that UFOs aren't real. That's what's happening here. So the question is whether or not the substantial majority of the members of Congress in the House and Senate who want to get at this information can overcome the activities of the national security state.
All right.
The deep state is opposing revealing this information.
All right, Danny Sheehan joining us from Washington.
Mike, that brings us into our next section of conversation tonight regarding the good old UAP Disclosure Act, which seems to, have fallen out of favor in the House of Representatives. Eric Burlison brought this out during the hearing, and he basically indicated that it's dead in the House.
Well, this would be the third time that it's failed to get passed.
You think they would have learned from, that Carl Linnell's wonderful legislation was too much and wasn't written right after it died the first time or after it died the second time, and they think it's going to be there for the third time? Well, it's not. Well, that's how it looks.
Well, that's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, but you expect different results each and every time. That's pure lunacy is what that is. So I don't know why Congress would be doing that 3 years in a row, but obviously they are. So
now, didn't Senator Rounds come out today and said this is going to be part of the Senate plan no matter what? But it doesn't matter if it's part of the Senate plan. The first year, UAPDA was part of the Senate. It was part of the Senate plan when it went to the House, and it died because the House shut it down, and the House has just shut it down again.
Right. So we knew this. We said it ahead of time that it was not going to pass again, and obviously it's headed in the same direction. Not going to be in the NDA. It's not going to pass.
Yeah.
So look, they got rid of Mike Turner, who was one of the main obstacles for the first 2 years running. But his people that are still there still have a say in the matter and will still block it every chance they get. So they didn't fix the problem. They sidestepped it.
Yeah.
Which is why this is still ongoing.
Seems to be the issue going on all the time, and it may be the reason. Daryl, you have your hand up, my friend.
I think it's going to be up to the mainstream media to ask the question, why does this keep coming up in bills trying to be passed in the House and the Senate? Why is this in there? That is my only hope for any of that, is that somebody is going to go, hey, here's a great story. They keep trying to put this stuff in here about these materials and recovered bodies, and isn't that crazy? Isn't somebody going to go like, hey, maybe there's something there? I mean, it just seems like that's at least a hope.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing, Daryl. Let's say they did pass it. Danny had said that if this legislation goes through, it will force the government to reveal all of the secrets that they've been covering up this entire time. Well, that's not an accurate statement, because even if it passed in its entirety, it still does not declassify any of the secrets the government has been hiding all this time. Only the president can do that. So even if it passed, it wouldn't get us any closer to finding out what they've been hiding this whole time. So it's wishful thinking, I think, on the people who want this to go through. But then even if it did, which it won't, it's not going to give them what they want. That's the reality of it.
You got to think that somebody, like, this is a good story. I mean, I think it's a good news story. Why is Chuck Schumer invested into this? I mean, it blows my mind that it really hasn't become a bigger thing. I mean, it's not on ABC, NBC, or CBS. It's just kind of crazy to me.
Why does Schumer have this on his agenda? We don't know. Is it ties back to the Democratic Party and John Podesta and Hillary Clinton potentially? Maybe he's got a heart. Maybe he's learned something from the Republican Senator Harry Reid, who was around. We don't know, but it is something that he is definitely, interested in. But it's not like he's out there in the headline promoting this any single chance he's had, because, Mike, we haven't heard shit from Schumer, literally out on the podium, out away from it on his vacation or anything, saying how important this is, that it needs to be passed, right? He's been quiet, silent.
Not a thing, right. He's
Except
not
for 26
invested
pages of a bill. I mean, isn't it like 26 pages of stuff that's in regards to UAP in that bill that Schumer and Rounds did? I mean, it's just, again, I'm going to go back to my sane world over here, not to the world of wondering why the mainstream media doesn't do its job for a great story, at least.
It's called Operation Mockingbird, that the government has the corporate media employed to spin their narrative and not act or report independently or on things that the government doesn't want the public to hear about.
Yeah.
That's been going on since the 1950s. And obviously in 2025, nothing has really changed, Daryl. It's unfortunately the world we live in. I wish it wasn't, but it's true. But then again, Thomas and I cover these stories here independently on the show, and we're trying to educate and inform the public on what's really going on and what it ultimately means in the end. So the word is getting out, but not from where it should be.
You know, Mike, as our government goes ahead and says,
we ain't found shit.
We call them out as,
oh, a bullshit artist.
Right?
Exactly.
Every time.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas, I have to let you know you're missing a button.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Taken care of. But although I'm missing a button, guess what I just found on YouTube, Mike? We've got a special News Nation news broadcast called The Road to UFO Transparency. What we know so far from a back scroll.
Oh, it is a back scroll. They're going to recap everything.
I know, but it's 25 minutes long. It'll take us to the end of the show. Shall we play it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yes. Everyone loves videos. Do you love videos, audience? I certainly do. Makes our life a lot easier. So should we get to it?
Please do.
All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and put up the fair use just to be in case. Put it on the bottom. And let's get to our dear friend over on News Nation and see where they're going to go.
Welcome to News Nation's Back Scroll, where we look back at our major news coverage on the most important topics and personalities of our time.
A new push from a group of House lawmakers tonight demanding answers from the intelligence community on UFOs, answers they did not get during the historic UFO hearing. In a letter to the Inspector General, 6 members of Congress are asking for specific details about possible government UFO programs that Air Force veteran and former intelligence officer David Grush said he could not share publicly. The lawmakers say they are being blocked from reviewing all of that classified information. Grush first made the whistleblower claims exclusively here on News Nation. He testified that he shared any information he had with the Inspector General.
And I know a lot of Congress talked about we're going to go to Area 51 and, and there's nothing there anymore anyway. It's just, and we move like a glacier. And as soon as we announce it, I'm sure the moving vans would pull up, but please.
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information both to the Intel committees and the Inspector General. I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
And so now lawmakers say they are going to go directly to the Inspector General. Tennessee Republican Representative Tim Burchett led the group behind that letter demanding information. Representative Burchett joins us now. Representative, I read the letter to the Inspector General. It was a good letter. The thing I was wondering, though, Congressman, is what if they just blow you off? Like, what if they get the letter and do they have to respond? Do they have to answer any of? I think you had 3 really serious questions in there. Do they have to even answer them?
Yeah, they do technically, but of course they won't. This cover-up will continue, and I predict they're not going to let us have a select committee. They're going to go down the list and just shut this thing down. One, we got way too much publicity. We called way too much attention to the war pimps at the Pentagon. And other things, we know how much money they're wasting on these wild programs, and they won't even release this information. They want more money to study it, yet they say they don't exist. Yet we have footage, Pentagon footage, or Defense Department footage. So it just goes down the list, and it's just a complete cover up, top to bottom. This thing, and they're just trying to run the clock out. You look at the Tic Tac videos, not TikTok, but Tic Tac, like the candy, right there. They denied they even existed, and then they were leaked, and then they came forward and said, in fact, they do exist. So it just continues. It's very frustrating, but they do it because they're allowed to do it, and because both sides of the aisle are compromised on this issue for whatever reason.
You don't sound as optimistic, Congressman. I think last time I spoke to you was just a couple days after the hearings, and you were sort of like on fire. I was getting this feeling like we were really going to get info. Tonight, you sound a little more like they're just shutting you down every way, and we might not find out anything.
Mike, I think this is how Burchett has been for a while. He has been sounding down. He has been seemingly more disconnected from this. Your thoughts?
Well, we've talked about this, you and I. He knows exactly what's going on in Congress. He knows it's stalled. He knows that one hand doesn't know what the other one is doing, and nothing is going to move forward according to plan. So he has taken a step back, and he's letting people like Representative Eric Burleson and Representative Luna lead the charge for truth and transparency. And he's taken a back seat to it because he knows the same thing that you and I talk about on the show publicly every chance we get. This isn't going to move forward officially. We're not going to get the disclosure everybody's waiting for.
Yeah.
So he has been dealing with the events going on his farm in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. While this one is a little bit dated, let's just go ahead and go to something more current. We have a, if you want to call it, Merrick von Rennenkamp talking with Elizabeth Vargas in this particular clip, going ahead and talking about the recent hearing, and Lou Elizondo's commenting on it with, Merrick von Rennenkamp, who seems to be a great person who's bringing stuff out and representing the Soul Foundation these days.
Yeah. Well, listen, Merrick von Rennenkamp is a credible journalist. He's former government analyst, so he's very familiar with the inner workings of the intelligence community. And he's somebody that when he tells you a story, he did due diligence on it and did all the research. So, when he puts something out there, it's good.
Wait
he
a
does
second.
good work.
I've got this on the wrong browser. Let me bring this on the right browser, because if I play that one, you won't be able to hear it. So let's get into this, Mike, and see where it takes us. And I think this is the one I was looking for. Here we go. Something a little bit more recent.
All right, it was billed as historic and a major UFO hearing on Capitol Hill, and it did not disappoint. A House subcommittee dedicated to declassifying federal secrets unveiled footage that has never been seen before, like this one on your screen right now. It shows what they call a UAP, an unidentified anomalous phenomenon, in the shape of an orb. It was spotted off the coast of Yemen last October.
Mike, I just want to know if they didn't say it's the shape of an egg. For important reasons.
A U.S. military drone then fires on it with a HELLFIRE missile. The 100-pound missile bounces right off the orb, which wavers for a moment and then continues to travel at extreme speed through the air. And it didn't end there. Several witnesses, including 3 Navy and Air Force veterans, testified to having witnessed other UAPs during their service.
Someone would see a light. They would pay attention to the light. And then the object responds. It performs for you. And then they come down and they investigate you.
The craft itself was this black metallic flake paint, but on top of the craft was this gold, lava, plasma, some type of fluid going over and around the craft.
Now, that last person you just heard from is an Air Force veteran named Dylan Borland. He claims to have seen a 100-foot triangle at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, which he says ascended tens of thousands of feet in seconds. But the hearing wasn't just about these astounding accounts and eye-popping footage. It was also about the government's efforts to keep all of this hidden, not only from the public, but from Congress as well. Borland said he faced threats from within the military when he spoke up about that incident at Langley Air Force Base, and that many others are suffering a similar fate.
I and many other whistleblowers have no job prospects, no foreseeable professional future in a nation every single one of us came forward to defend. To my fellow whistleblowers and officials who know this information,
Mike, I have to say, this gentleman actually came across as someone who's been through a traumatic experience. The way he talked, his canter, the way he announced things. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he seems very frustrated with the government and everything that he's had to deal with as a result of it. And you and I talked about this because his story is not unique. Lou Elizondo dealt with the same shit.
David Grush did. Yeah.
Right.
And others.
So, yeah, this seems to be the playbook for the government and how they treat people who want to come forward with the truth, especially their military.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate.
They persecute their own, unfortunately. Here we go.
something that I have never gotten.
All right, joining us now is former Pentagon UAP investigator Lou Elizondo, who played a crucial role in launching the current UAP renaissance when he helped release the now infamous Pentagon videos back in 2017. Also joining us is Merrick von Rennenkampf, who served at the Departments of State and Defense. Merrick, I'm going to start with you. And this video that was just revealed that we played a portion of just a second ago, it's from an MQ-9 Reaper drone off the coast of Yemen in 2024. The missile appears, it's a 100-pound missile. It appears to simply bounce off this object rather than destroy it. It's unbelievable. What do you think we're seeing here?
Well, good evening, Elizabeth, and it's great to be with you again. It is very, very intriguing footage. I want to caution everybody that interesting footage has been debunked in the past, but at first glance, this is very, very interesting footage, especially because it appears that this object continues moving along on a trajectory after the impact from this missile. Again, much more analysis is required, but at first glance, it does some very interesting things. It appears to rotate before the missile strikes it. A lot more analysis needs to be done, but I want to quickly caution folks that we get hung up on flashy videos. I really want to urge everybody watching to call their senators to support the UAP Disclosure Act, which is sponsored by Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds. That is really the core of the matter. That's my bottom line takeaway, that we should pay attention to these, again, headline-grabbing incidents and testimonies and videos, but let's really pass some legislation that actually could have some teeth and some impact on this topic.
Lou, Merrick raises a good point. The video is impressive, but let's apply some proper skepticism. We don't know its provenance. It was leaked anonymously to Congressman Burleson. Second, it lacks all of the telemetry data that we saw in the infamous Nimitz Tic Tac video that you actually helped make public yourself. Congressman Burleson himself didn't want to make any claims about what this was or wasn't. We need a lot more information here, right?
Yeah, Elizabeth, Merrick's absolutely correct. We have to be very careful not to jump to any conclusions prematurely. However, this is just example of one of many, many types of videos that the U.S. government has in its possession, and Congress is working very hard trying to get some of those released in order for the American public to see it for themselves, and also maybe get some additional expertise to look at what we're looking at in this video. I would like to also emphasize that this particular hearing was, I would say, historic, and it takes a lot for me to say that because I was in a hearing very similar to this. What you heard was there was this concerted effort to obfuscate by the U.S. government and suppress whistleblower testimony. It's something that I've been basically railing against for the last 8 years because I myself have been victim to it, same with some of my other colleagues. And you heard it again from firsthand whistleblowers that they too, in some cases, suffered a tremendous amount of retribution just simply for coming forward and asking the hard questions.
Why do you think that is? I'm not sure I understand this. Like, why We heard the testimony today. We've had other people, guests on this show, who've said the same thing, that they were told not to speak out, Lou. Why do you think they're being...
I actually had to sign paperwork, and I'll tell you something. There's several reasons it could be, but let me tell you the one that I fear is probably perhaps maybe the most realistic, or one of the most realistic, that the U.S. government actually has been able to successfully reverse engineer perhaps certain aspects of the observables, what we're seeing with UAP technology. And in fact, we heard about the stories today about a triangular craft that was huge in size with lights on the apex of the triangle. There are other whistleblowers right now, to include former special operators, who are willing to come forward and talk to Congress and the intelligence community about these exact aircraft being...
Hold on a second, Mike. Wasn't Jake Barber a special operator? I think he was. Just pointing that out. Hopefully it's not Jake Barber, but it could be. Let's find out.
Seen over military bases.
And by the way, Mike, I muted you earlier just in case you're wondering why we're not hearing you, because there was some noise in the background.
You said on X today that, quote, absolutely no one can watch this hearing and say
I just realized that.
Nothing to see here. You think today's hearing moved the needle, perhaps, on UFO transparency?
I sure hope so, Elizabeth. I've been following this for quite some time, as you know, and this, to Lou's absolutely right. I do think this is a historic hearing, but we have to view this hearing in the broader kind of architecture of what's happened over the last several years. And when you put it all together, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to spend all night tonight writing an opinion piece for The Hill, and I don't know where to begin because there was so much from this hearing. We had names named, we had allegations of illegality, a potential constitutional crisis, which again, Senator Chuck Schumer, Mike Rounds, Secretary of State Marco Rubio have all alluded to. We've had video footage. It's just extraordinary. And I just want to quickly sing the praises of George Knapp, who I think was truly, all the witnesses were outstanding, but George Knapp is just a remarkable, he's an encyclopedia of this topic. He did incredible work bringing documents out of Russia that are really eyebrow raising. So to make a long-winded answer short, this was indeed historic. I really hope this moves the needle. The video footage again grabs all the headlines, but let's I hope people have a much broader understanding of this topic. And yes, in totality, it's hard to ignore this.
And Elizabeth,
yeah, go ahead, Lou.
This is exactly why journalism is so important. People like Merrick, yourself, George Knapp, you are at right now the forefront of this topic, and you folks are the ones that are actually forcing the government to provide answers.
And Merrick, I just want to go back to something. You just referenced allegations of illegality. Very quickly, what are those allegations?
It's quite simple, and this is what whistleblower Dave Grush alleged in his whistleblower complaint to the Inspector General of the intelligence community, and that is that information has been illegally withheld from Congress. UAP and UFO-related information being withheld from Congress by secretive elements of the executive branch. That is a major constitutional crisis, and the stakes are incredibly high here.
Yeah, and we've heard several congressmen say very publicly that they think that is happening, and they are very, very upset about it. Lou, very quickly, during the hearing, Congressman Burleson alleged that congressional staff have repeatedly blocked attempts to legislate disclosure. So even within Congress, he's saying...
Yeah, think about that, Elizabeth. You're absolutely right. Imagine a staffer who is not an elected official going out on their own...
Blocking an elected official from doing their job.
That's right. That's right. If that's not obstruction, I don't know what is.
What do you think, Lou, needs to be done going forward? Will there be more of these hearings, more of these revelations? Can they issue subpoenas? We heard Congressman Luna talk about threatening subpoenas today. Who does she want to subpoena and why?
Yes to all the above. I think the subpoena is looking right now, the bullseye is directly on the back of the former Aero director, Sean Kirkpatrick. It's been made abundantly clear that he obfuscated, at a minimum, obfuscated the truth and perhaps much more serious allegations are involved with that. My personal interaction with that office was, how shall I say, less than spectacular when I spoke to them in person in Washington, D.C. Now, I want to also be clear, we've got to be careful we don't, paint this with a broad stroke, because there is new leadership in Aero and Mr. Kozlowski, and I think we need to give him a fair shake. I do not think this is, quote, your father's Oldsmobile, and I think we need to give him a new opportunity to succeed.
And what do they think Aero did under the last administration to hamper efforts by Congress to get to the bottom of this?
Well, they did a lot of things. First of all, the reports that they put out to Congress were erroneous. They were fraught full of inaccuracies and misinformation. In fact, they were factually false in some of their results. Secondly, they did not do their due diligence. They had told Congress they talked to everybody who knew anything about UAPs. That is also patently not true. And then they said, well, they've talked to all the whistleblowers and there's nothing to see here. And that also is not true. A lot of information, substantial amount of information was provided to Aero in the past, and they decided to sit on it and furthermore actually suppress it. I know for a fact there's a major command right now in Colorado that was visited by Sean Kirkpatrick, and they were told to stand down and not report UAP information. That actually happened.
Merrick, how much of this is a national security issue?
It is a major national security issue. Anytime we have objects demonstrating capabilities that we cannot replicate, that we do not.
If that video, to your point, if that video is for real and it is accurate, objects, I don't know of an object that can take a solid hit from a HELLFIRE, a 100-pound HELLFIRE missile, and keep flying, with barely a waiver there.
I absolutely agree, but again, I want to caution folks that let's be a little skeptical. But you're right in the totality of the evidence. When you look, especially through the historical record, and you see just countless report after report of identical morphologies of these objects back in the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, exhibiting these extraordinary technologies, we certainly have a major national security issue. And I just want to quickly state, your viewers might remember we had a series of quote-unquote drone incursions over sensitive military facilities. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that the most extraordinary of those series of events occurred over Langley Air Force Base, which is precisely where Dylan Borland observed this allegedly equilateral triangle performing in extraordinary ways, and reporting of potentially non-human objects and materials going back to the 1970s have been connected to Langley Air Force Base. And
is there something specific about Langley that would attract interest from another country? Let's just assume it's something man-made.
Well, that's a CIA-operated Air Force base. Am I correct, Mike? You're muted.
Yeah, you're completely correct about that. Obviously, yeah, Langley.
And there have been people that I know of who have reported seeing Lou Elizondo walk around that Air Force base as well. So maybe it's not just for flights, but maybe there's some involvement with the CIA as well.
Well, you know what? It's not beyond the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Aid that's, hovering over Langley and gathering intel or from out of this world, okay, I can't even believe I just said that. But what is it about Langley Air Force Base?
Well, we're speculating. All we know is that we've had this witness report. We've certainly had the drone incursions that the military has admitted. This has been on almost nightly for almost 3 weeks, and that is a major air defense facility that houses the F-22 fighter, which is one of our most advanced aircraft. I will just say quickly, Elizabeth, you caught yourself when you said extraterrestrial non-human intelligence. I must stress that non-human intelligence, that term appears 24 times in this legislation submitted by Senator Schumer, Senator Rounds, Senator Gillibrand, that is working its way through Congress right now. And that really, I think, should be the focus of everyone's efforts if you're truly interested in transparency on this topic.
Non-human intelligence. Lou Elizondo, Merrick von Rennenkampf, more questions come out of these hearings. Is like the more revelations we get, the more questions we have. Thank you both for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Mike, it seems to be those who have the questions are those who haven't been paying attention to what's truly going on, which sounds like the mass media.
it absolutely is the mass media, as well as certain members of Congress and people who should know better, but obviously don't seem to. So, yeah, I agree. You're right.
Yeah,
it just stinks.
Catching up with Twitter, my friend. One of the things I want to bring up right now, this comes from Shane Freaks, who's a freak sometimes. Let's go ahead and bring it up. What are we talking about? Let's get into it. He's saying, this could possibly be the balloon we saw. I don't think so. Because if that balloon was the thing that was shot, it would actually deflate and go away, and you'd have these two potential things, but they're still tethered together. It doesn't make sense, does it? There's a lot of people out there trying to justify that it's balloons, but I don't believe it's a balloon. Do you?
No, hell no. It's bullshit. They're coming up with all of these half-assed theories that don't apply to the video and the facts that we've seen. So they're coming up with their own narrative. It's not correct or accurate, and people should know better before they buy into the bullshit.
Yeah. While a lot of people on UFO, actually over on YouTube, get used to seeing those big red arrows, well, we've got some to go ahead and share with you. Coming from Merrick von Rennenkamp, showing, yes, look at this. We actually have the exact same three shapes coming out of the object, which usually you wouldn't see if something was hit. You're not going to get stuff in the exact same orientation, would you?
You just showed it. When they shot down that Chinese balloon, the debris field that we saw when it exploded.
Went everywhere.
Yeah, it went everywhere, but they were all different sizes and shapes. You didn't see identical objects.
No, never.
Right. It's insulting your intelligence to claim that you would.
Yeah. Well, mass media seems to like to do that, don't they, Mike?
Well, it's lazy reporting when they do that. It's half-assed.
Yeah.
So they're not doing due diligence, which they should do, and the public depends on that. It's frustrating, but that's why we do the job that we do, to inform the public on what is being misrepresented in mainstream media.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I need to bring this up really quick because we've been covering the potential catastrophes that are heading towards Earth. Coming in from one of our friends on X, known as the Open-Minded Approach, goes ahead and brings some interesting information to us. NASA has done irreversible damage and has directly influenced public opinion about the upcoming geomagnetic excursion event. They claim in a simple blog, without showing any evidence, that the current shifting of the poles and the geomagnetic excursion don't cause climate change. But internally, they know the geomagnetic excursions are closely tied to abrupt climate change, almost what they call, Mike, climate destabilization, even though this is what's heading our way. So, we love to see the facts on what's going on, but more importantly, to show that our government on many fronts is involved in disinformation campaigns to keep the truth from coming out.
Yeah, I believe that we've covered on more than one occasion that when in fact the migration of the poles and the magnetic field, we will be exposed for a long period of time that could devastate life on this planet. And once we go through that phase, that transition. But I don't hear anybody else talking about that or making any of those points.
No. It's something we're going to cover on a regular basis because it was covered in the book, what do you call
Adam and Eve.
The Adam and Eve story by Chan Thomas.
Right.
That was actually taken off the market by the CIA, and when it was re-released, there were significant points taken out of it, and it talks about the cyclical, if you want to call it, catastrophe cycles that happen on our planet every 6,000 years, like clockwork. 6,000 years isn't so bad, but we're on that point. But it's the 12,000 year cycles that's bad. And Mike, we're overdue at this point, aren't we?
We are. And what's interesting is most people are not aware the planet rotates at 1,000 miles per hour. And when we go through this type of a change, at one point, the planet itself would slow down considerably. but the water, like the oceans, wouldn't. And we've talked about this on the show, if you remember. That means we would have tidal waves moving at 1,000 miles an hour. That would completely devastate anything that's on the surface of the planet.
And you wonder why the non-human intelligence potentially has UFO bases underneath the bedrock of the seafloor, because it's the safest place on our planet, right?
Right. When all hell breaks loose, go underground.
Yeah. Well, go underground under the ocean because it's the safest place you can go. Now, shifting our focus back on the UAP hearing, we got another clip here coming from UAP James over on X. Yes, believe it or not, ABC News Live did cover the hearing. Let's hear what kind of story they're trying to tell to the general public about what happened. Here we go, folks.
New video unveiled at a congressional hearing with UAP whistleblowers raising questions about whether there's something truly out there. Now, you'll remember UFOs, that's what we grew up saying, right, are now called UAPs by the U.S. government. All right, let's get back to GOP Congressman Eric Burleson, because he played the video that appears to show a U.S. military HELLFIRE missile bouncing off a bright, shiny object off the coast of Yemen last October. Burleson says he's not speculating on what the object is, but he says he wants transparency. Senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez joining me now. Okay, what are we hearing from the Pentagon? What is this? Do tell.
Well, Kara, this is obviously something that is of great importance here at the Pentagon, because the Pentagon is concerned about the safety of its military personnel. And so what it does is it regularly investigates any incidents regarding reports of UFOs, or UAPs as they're now called. And so obviously this was something that was taken seriously. When I asked officials yesterday for any comment about the release of this video, what the scenario, it took place off the coast of Yemen in last October, all I got as an answer was, we have nothing for you. That is kind of
nothing for you, Mike, meaning we are not going to talk anything about this. Are you surprised? I'm not.
No, but it's interesting the way they phrased it. They didn't deny it. They didn't say we can neither confirm nor deny. They just made a direct statement. We have nothing for you.
Oh my God, this brings me back. I need to jump out of here back. Let's watch the rest of this. A couple seconds left, but I need to get to a tweet that I know I cached that's about that, but it's more about the government covering up and just using the term extraterrestrial, meaning we didn't find any evidence of extraterrestrial activity. And extraterrestrial activity doesn't align with something that may have been here for millions of years, Mike, or something that's potentially coming here from another dimension. So there's a war of words coming on from Susan Goff, right? Who's trying to go ahead and dissuade us and say, oh, there's no extraterrestrials here, that we don't know what you're talking about. When they've been asked, say, could it be a non-human intelligence, something else? And all they go back to is using the term extraterrestrial and no more, which truly shows there's a cover-up going on. And I have to ask a question. Tim, I see you in the back. Are you surprised? I called on him. Let's see if he answers. I just saw him putting a message up. Oh, I guess not.
His mute button must be on.
Not going to happen. All right, let's play the rest of this, and I will find that DM. Here we go.
The typical answer that you get when they don't want to discuss something, but at the same time, it also implies that they're probably looking into how this video was released.
All right, so there's that
New
one.
video unveiled at a congressional.
All right, let's shut off her and her glasses that are bigger than my grandmother's were. I guess that's in style these days, Mike. Let's see if I can find this one. All right. I found it. I found it. Let's jump into this really quick. All right, so the Pentagon's insistence on limiting its denials to the word extraterrestrial is a deliberate legal strategy. By only saying there's no evidence of extraterrestrial activity, the Pentagon can truthfully deny aliens from another planet without being forced into the extent that without being forced to the extent that denial to a broader categories such as a non-human intelligence or unknown intelligence, or potentially something from another dimension besides something from another planet within our galaxy or beyond. Let me shrink this down so we can see this a bit more. All right, this narrow wording allows the government to publicly assert no aliens while avoiding any legal or factual misrepresentation if evidence exists of being investigated regarding other anomalous potential non-human activities. So coming in, this is a message, Mike, to your sweetheart, Susan Goff. Let me see if I can find her here. She's got to be here somewhere. But anyway, Susan Goff saying, thanks, Susan. Can I amend your statement with consent to include non-human intelligence and unknown intelligence in addition to extraterrestrials? To confirm this would still be accurate for ARO and its predecessors. Coming from Kyle Warfel, who's an investigative researcher. And what does our dear beauty woman say? Saying, Kyle, no, you may not amend my statement. I can confirm that to date, the Department of Defense has not found any verifiable evidence that any UAP incident is a result of extraterrestrial activity. Regards, Susan Goff. Like a cough that you can't get rid of. Department of Defense operations. How about that, Mike? They won't get off the term extraterrestrial, even potentially when we may be dealing things that are interdimensional, which has come up many times. And if they can come up with a term that excludes what they know that it is, they are going to stick to it, aren't they?
Yeah. You know why they're going to stick to it that hard? Because they're covering something up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll go one step further.
It's a cover-up.
Do you know who else mentioned this specifically about the UAP and NHI? Joe McMoneagle. And he didn't say they were from another planet.
Nope. And even
they were interdimensional.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this came out a long time ago from Colonel John Alexander, or at least he made Colonel.
Right. That's right.
Colonel John Alexander brought this up many times in the past, and he was one of the first people to call these entities out as interdimensional. So if they know they're from another dimension and claiming these things are extraterrestrial, saying we have no proof of extraterrestrials, doesn't deal with the whole interdimensional philosophy, does it?
No, it becomes a loophole the size of the Grand Canyon. They can get away with lying right to your face legally, mind you.
Yeah.
It's why they do that. They're sticking behind the terminology to be very careful where they tread. And when he tried to correct it, Kyle, for her to include everything else, she said, no, don't do that. So that's a dead giveaway, what they're hiding.
You're not allowed to.
Right. She's lying.
She's a beauty as well.
Oh, God. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm not bringing her up. Don't worry, Mike. I can't find her picture today. Otherwise, I definitely would.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome, my friend. And I apologize to the audience for not having this opportunity to freak Mike out. But you know what? We need to sometimes.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend.
What else do we have? I think we've about covered everything. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, where are we at? Let me see. No. We got crying Chuck Schumer. No, not that one. Got the balloon stuff we covered. We covered that. I mean, we have to probably say this for another show. There's been a lot of interesting things going down in Peru with Sacsayhuaman, the major site down in Peru. They've been doing some digging, and they've been finding some interesting results.
We could save that for tomorrow's international show.
You better believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have members of South America that would, I'm sure, appreciate hearing our coverage of that
Europe,
story.
South America, Australia, all those wonderful places, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for your wonderful support of everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. More importantly, to some of our fans who have thrown some super chats our way. Who am I talking about? Kane Northrop. Thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. Firefly, thank you very much for $10 Australian. Mr. Catfish 2100, Europe. Thank you very much, sir. Mike, Mr. Catfish 2100 is our longest standing subscriber. Thank you very much for being here, Mr. Catfish. We love you. And by the way, those little things that he has down in his icon for YouTube.
Yeah.
That's actually some of the UFOs he has encountered, and he's dealt with abductions. So thank you very much for sharing that information, Mr. Catfish. Also want to thank Daryl Zernick for your initial super chat coming in for $10.69. We know there's a reason for that, but we want to thank everybody for coming out for tonight's show. Mike, thank you for being here, my friend.
My pleasure.
And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure Tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody, but
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you in the flip side. Good night, everybody. Y'all come back now here. Take care. Bye-bye.